Well, last up on a Friday afternoon, red FN2 for a map at Dynodaze. It's got a bit of a mix match of modifications, but we're going to do our absolute best to get it up on power as much as we can and make sure that it leaves here nice and healthy. Here she comes. Cue the excitement. Okay, so she's up on the dyno. I believe it's already got an Ecutek map on it, so we are going to do a stock run and see how we get on. Are you ready? Go on. I shall go on.
Oh, you've already started.
I've already
Sorry.
started. Yeah. So basically, this FN2 is coming for a map today. First thing first, it doesn't start, so it needed a battery. So we put a battery on it to get it up and onto the dyno. It's one of those things. Sometimes with cars, you have to just tune with what you've got, whatever modifications the car comes in. I know you can offer advice like the exhaust system needs replacing, things like that. You can offer that advice and hopefully people respond to that. But this car itself could do. I know this car could do a lot better if it didn't have certain modifications it's got, because it's got some really good modifications, hasn't it, Rich?
Yeah, I mean we've got a set of cams in it. We've got a M2 inlet manifold. We've got the Dynodaze induction kit, which is not very good. It's not big enough, nowhere near. We've also got a 4-to-1 decap manifold, but we have the Miltech small exhaust, so the 2-inch exit exhaust, twin exit, which is just, well, it's worse than the standard exhaust in honesty. Yeah, so I mean, where I would expect this car to be today, probably around the 230 mark, to be fair. We've finished on 220, and that solely is down to that induction kit, probably more so the exhaust than the induction kit, but nevertheless, change the induction kit, get a good size kit on there, good 3.5 inch bore, 3 inch bore in
Now, I
there.
know what you're thinking. 10 brake horsepower. Well, it's 10 brake horsepower. It's not a lot, is it? But when we talk about NA tuning, 10 brake horsepower and NA tuning is the world of difference.
Well, it's 10 brake horsepower at peak. I mean, it could be 20 brake horsepower in the mid-range. You know what I mean? It could be a massive dollop in the mid-range.
Yeah.
You know, it seems silly to pay for an exhaust and put an exhaust on and then obviously have it only held back by the exhaust. You know what I mean? You know, you pay money for that Miltech. For the money you've paid for that Miltech, you could go and buy a Tegua 70mm.
Which are in stock now, by the way, everybody. I know we had this conversation recently, but they're now back in stock and you can have one if you want.
Yeah, and at that point, this car would have probably made another 10 brake.
That's not a hard sell either, because
No, it's not.
Because I've got a 70mm Tegua on my car. Made the world of difference above a 2.5 inch exhaust.
Unfortunately, like we touched on with these before, these really do need a 3 inch exhaust. If you're pushing on, especially with inlet manifold cams and everything else, and you really want to make the top amount of power that you're ever going to make, you need a 3 inch exhaust on them. Unfortunately, they are not cheap.
No, we do ones on the website. I don't consider that to be cheap, but I think maybe that's because I think the Tegua 70mm is such good value for money.
Yeah, it's such good value for money. Then the next step is like double that money, isn't it?
Very nearly, my friend. Yes.
Double the amount that you spend on Tegua 70mm. So if someone said, "Well, I've only got a £500 to £600 budget," well, the Tegua 70mm
That's
is.
the one for you.
If you've got a £1,000 budget, well, then
you can have a solid fab. You can have a Dynodaze one. Luke at LA Fab and make you one up for £1,000.
I think TDI North did do one, but they don't do it anymore, obviously, because they didn't do it. But CPL Racing definitely do a 3 inch one as well. But they're all out there, and they're all around the same sort of money. Obviously, we understand to people's budgets, but in this instance, the exhaust has killed the power on this car today.
It's worth noting that we actually sell the TDI North one now.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So the Dynodaze 3 inch is what used to be the TDI North
3 inch, yeah.
Yeah. Just so that everyone's aware, it's transparency, isn't it? But yes, this could do better because it's got, you know, the oil pump.
It's got cams, it's got an inlet manifold, it's got everything it needs to make good power, but just got a couple of...
It's asthmatic.
Yeah, it's a couple of mods either side of it that are really restricting it. Should you have a look at the graph?
Yeah, come on. Yeah. It's Friday afternoon, so let's look at the graph. So red line is as she came in and blue line is as she leaves. So you can see the wheel horsepower that we've made. And we finish on 220 brake horsepower, which is 176 at the wheels. And as our Richard says, we can do better than this. We certainly can do better than this. There's our Jenny.
Yeah.
So I believe this one is going to be a bit of a track toy. So we've been talking about bigger brakes, etc. But I think we're going to try and convince him for a better exhaust system and see how we get on. But there we go. It's running safe. It's lovely. He can go and enjoy it now. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. There's our telephone number. I'm not touching you. There's our Why are you so...
I thought you were filming my arse again.
Why would I do that?
Because now it's known that everyone... I thought you were selling it.
I'm not selling it. Jeno, come on. You bring the tone of these videos down so much. There's our telephone number if you need us anyway. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll see you on the next one, won't we, Jeno?
We will indeed.
We will indeed. Poor old Jeno.
Before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.